Hello, my name's Fox, and I say, hey, name is Fox, and welcome back. Anyways, Alastor, one of my favorites. I like this a lot more. Also, look at his human form. He actually got melanin and somewhat curled hair. So now people can shut the fuck up. But but we need to, before we get to this, we actually need to talk about the other stories, which one of them I have that talks a little bit more about it. The other one I just like so much. Pretty much episode 3. Episode 3 dives a little bit more. Okay, just to tie up Charlie's whole thing for the next 2 episodes, because I love Charlie, don't get me wrong, but this girl needs to put down the sugar and just sit down. I do love, though, that Vaggie tells her at one point, just like, can you just calm down, just stay with me today? I love that so much. Then she says to Cinder, but she really just means to stay with her. Okay. Charlie needs to relax and chill. Like, it continues exactly where the last one left off, where the first episode left off, where Charlie screamed because Emily popped up and said, hey, Penchas was redeemed. And Charlie goes, oh, cool. It was great. Now I can tell everyone that, they can be redeemed. Which, the better thing probably would just be, okay, cool. I know it works, so now we can just move along with that. That would probably be the smarter option. But no, Charlie is like, I have to tell everybody. That way they know they can be redeemed. And I'm going to go tell Vox, who's known for telling lies. And also a character who literally looks he says, why would I want to spend misinformation? He's like, why would I want to spend misinformation? Looks in camera. There are a lot of scenes in this, though, that I will say, they had definitely, I feel like they probably wanted to meme it a little bit, because there's a part where you see Vox looking at the camera with, a smug face, where Charlie's like, what, he'll tell the truth? And it's like, yeah, no, he won't. But pretty much Charlie tries, for these next 2 episodes, brings Vox and Velvet into the hotel to try to tell them, that redemption is a thing, so that way they could, put it on the news. Sorry. To try to put it on the news, and pretty much then, they're like, well, how do we know if it actually worked? How do we know you're not lying to us? And she goes, oh, well, we'll redeem someone right now. We'll redeem, Angel. Angel's closest. We'll redeem Angel. And, Charlie, I definitely feel like, and maybe it's also a thing with Emily, too, because both Emily and Charlie are, mirrors of each other in this. And also, both of them seem, overcompensate very much. But Charlie can't prove it. And also, again, she's like, oh, we'll just redeem Angel. And I'm just thinking, yeah, redeeming Angel is, because that's also, I think, a good part about this story, too. Is that, yeah, some of them want redemption, but also some of them kind of just don't. Because if you look at Penchas, he's miserable in heaven. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to be down in hell with Cherry. And Cherry also wants to be, with Penchas. They have this entire love ballad song between each other about their lives. Also, they have all, their season 1 outfits and stuff. They have, these whole, this song number about how they miss, running after each other, shooting each other, and, nearly killing each other. Them hurting each other, or them, fighting each other was pretty much their version of kissing. That's what they're, Charlie, and again, Charlie doesn't kind of think that far ahead with that, and she just kind of goes, we'll just, send Angel up there. And it's also, a double, God, Husk has some of the best lines in this. But, I really do love, ever since last season, now, it seems very much Husk is 100% just flirting with Angel and back and forth, whether they do anything or not, whatever, but, they're flirting with each other back and forth their own ways, and it's really, really funny. He's like, that's fucking talk. Oh, suck on it. Oh, choke on it. Oh, I would. Some shit like that. That's Angel. That's some Angel basic things. But there's a point where, okay, so, pretty much they're flirting and stuff like that. And Husk straight tells Angel, look, I probably should have stick my nose in this, but if there's anyone here to be redeemed, that it's you. You're the closest out of all of us. And on top of that, he's like saying, look, there's two things that happen. One, you're redeemed and you get to go to heaven. Two, you don't get redeemed and you're still down here with me. Like, not with anyone else. He's like, with me. And I'm like, I like that. That's cool. I'm trying to think. And so they do all these things. There's a dastardly Doolittle or Doodle. I can't remember what it's called. But pretty much like that one bad guy from the wacky races or whatever. Charlie dresses up as at one point. Pretty much because they're trying to figure out how to have Angel go to heaven. And they're trying everything that supposedly Pentious went through. Doesn't work. Towards like the end of the episode, they tie Husk to a railway, and like Harley goes as Dastardly Doolittle kind of, and goes, yes, you might need to save Pentious, and that'll get you to heaven. So I guess self-sacrifice is like, as far as I understand it, is the number one way to get to heaven. That's the big thing. They even showed in like Constantine when like he dies, like the sacrifice, and I knew about that way before even the movie Constantine with Keanu Reeves. And that's the big thing. Selfless sacrifice will get you to heaven immediately. Charlie even brings that up, but it does seem like maybe, like Charlie then later on goes like, well, maybe it's actually, like dealing with your sin possibly, and like how would you deal with certain sins? Charlie, I'm trying to think, but yeah, Charlie has a train coming down to kill Husk, and she has Baggy's angel spear on it. Comes down, she has a stop button, and Angel's like, well, I'm a big, strong, cowboy. And he's dressed as a sexy cowboy. To save, I'm not doing this. And he's just like, look, Charlie, I'm not doing this. We just need to stop. And he's like, Charlie, okay. Charlie pressed the stop button. It doesn't work. And she's like, what the like, and then Vox like, oh yeah, I cut out the brakes. Just so you know. Also, when Vox first came there, he gave them a free TV, a giant ass TV that then smashed the radio in the living room or the lobby. And I'm like, all right, Vox. A little mad there. All right. But took out the brakes. Train is coming down. Mimsy is riding, going, wee, I'm gonna kill him. And Angel has to actually go up there, try to unties, shoots Gus, almost gets out, almost gets killed. Maggie actually flies in and grabs them both and gets them out. And I love Husk because Husk starts yelling at Angel because he was scared for Angel. And he's like, what the hell were you doing? He's like, well, I was trying to save you. He's like, don't do that shit. Do that next time and I'll fucking spank you. Oh my god damn it. I love that so much because it's obviously I feel like Husk's way of saying he's still like, don't do that, you idiot, like don't die for me and all that shit. And again, like I feel like there is kind of that bit a little bit here where even like Pentious died and went to heaven, but he's still gone from his friends. He is in a sense still dead. I just realized they have lights over their city too. Like, anyways. But yeah, I was like, what the heck? I'm like, it's like, I'll spank you. I'm like, that is such a weirdish way to say that. But also, I'm like, I guess, yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, you're not actually gonna hurt him. But it was just really funny when he said that. I'm like, whoa! But he gets mad, and then Charlie's like, Baggy says that, like, Angel isn't Pentious. And Charlie even dressed him up as Pentious at one point. And Charlie's like, wait, that's right, he's not. We need to deal with your sin. What was your sin, Angel? Angel's like, I'm not going to say that. And Vox's like, oh, I know it. Yeah, you killed your dad. and Charlie's like, oh, shit. And then pretty much Vox starts kind of throwing shit at Angel. And then Charlie's like, no, get the fuck out of my house. You can make fun of me. You can make fun of my hotel. You can't make fun of the people in it. Get out. And then Vox leaves with Velvet, and like they have all this footage to obviously edit together to make Charlie look bad. And I love like the interview with an anonymous source. It's just Velvet. And Velvet says, oh yeah, Charlie punched me. She reached out and punched me with an open hand. It's like, what? Like, okay. But yeah, there's that whole thing. Cherry also goes to Baxter, who Baxter straight says that he works with Vox. but because apparently Baxter worked with Pentious, and Pentious, I believe Baxter was the one who made Pentious' eggs. I believe. I didn't rewind that. It was part of double check that. I believe that's what happened, and Pentious and him actually had a falling out because he's like, the genetic experiments were too cruel. And also the point where Pentious' tech apparently wasn't keeping up with Hell, where Baxter's bio bioengineering. He's pretty much like Jumbo Jukiba, but smaller and fish. Or more fish. And he tells this to Cherry, who threatened to blow up his lab, and he goes, "Are you satisfied now? Can you leave?" And she goes, "Okay." Leaves, drops a bomb in his thing anyway, drops a bomb in his lab anyways because he's been a dick. And then that's where these guys have a song. Actually, I'm not gonna play it right now because I'm still trying to get, currently as I'm recording this, I'm trying to still get episode 1 and 2, my review episode 1 and 2 out. And because I played a bit of Gravity, that is not working. So right now, if you watch that video after this one, or whatever, that's that one before, whatever. If you watch that one, you're wondering like, hey, why does Lute sound like Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks? That is why. I'm like, at some point, I've been like putting it increment by increment of making the voice, making the audio slightly faster or pitched up higher. So eventually it won't get caught by YouTube, and eventually it will sound literally like Alvin and the Chipmunks by the end. There's no gravity, what I'm dealing with. But yeah, they have their whole love duet song with each other. Velvet, Cherry's trying to get to the highest point of the city so that way see if Pentious can kind of hear her. And, Pentious just singing to the sky. See, that's just adorable. But, and that's kind of where that, and then next episode with Charlie, similar thing. She guys will go live with Killjoy. Killjoy doesn't seem to know her in this. So, I guess, like, the pilot is... Like, I know the pilot... Okay, so I kind of guess the pilot was pseudo-canon. Like, there's probably... some of it's canon while some of it isn't. Kind of like how the Hell of a Boss kind of had... Like, pilot was canon-ish. And, like, now they remade it to where, like, they made a canon version, so I'm not sure if we're going to get that. But it looks like Katie Killjoy never met Charlie, I think. So, like, the canon, so that's just completely out the window, which I now kind of want to know how all this happened. And we'll get to Alastor stuff in a minute. But yeah, she goes on live with Mimsy. I feel like I'm saying Mimsy? It is Mimsy, isn't it? I think, like, on there, and, like, she goes to try to say what actually happened, completely screws up. At one point says, sinners don't deserve to go to heaven. And, like, without really thinking it. And then pretty much that all gets backtracked when Alastor comes in, which Alastor, apparently, his soul is actually owned by Rosie. Which we actually go into Alastor's backstory back in, New Orleans, where he had his own radio show. He killed a bunch of assholes, and he actually apparently been using everything he could, all his voodoo and such, so he contact the other side because he wanted to make a deal with a demon, so that way, because he's like, I've killed so many people, I know I'm going to hell, so I want to make sure that I am the strongest sinner. And Rosie was the one who actually answered. And Rosie brings up that Rosie pretty much says, like, okay, fine. I will make you the strongest sinner ever. So pretty much, if we're going with this idea that this is true, that she made him the strongest sinner ever, that then means no one else is stronger than Alastor. Alastor is at his peak, because throughout the episode, through both episodes, Alastor does not give a shit anymore. And it's really funny. He really gives off Bugs Bunny vibes, but Bugs Bunny when he's mad. Like, he just disappears, doesn't want to deal with Vox, doesn't want to deal with anything that's going on here, doesn't want to help out at all. He's in pain because he still has the scar across his chest, which I made a character who has a scar across his chest, and I'm thinking, like, why? Anyways, I'm like, why did he have to have... Anyways, beside the point. Alastor has a scar across his chest. Alastor has a scar across his chest, and I'm like, God damn it. But beside that point, I drew this character before this whole thing, just FYI. Just want to say that, throw that out there. But anyway, Al is not dealing with any of this, and he's like, you know what? After talking with Lucifer, which also, again, Al has a mug that was like a Lucifer cup that wrote on it that says Duck Season, which I'm like, yeah, he like that. I think the Bugs Bunny feels intentional. He feels like an evil Bugs Bunny, or more evil or Bugs Bunny, or less evil, or I guess depending on how Bugs feels that day. But Al, after talking with Lucifer, he's like, you know what? Nope, fuck this. I'm out. I'm done. I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. I don't want to deal with any of you people. I hate you all. Also, after the Vox video thing, people started checking out of the hotel, which they actually had sinners in there, but it seemed like almost everyone of them checked out, except for Cherry, who actually decided to check in and is just hanging out with Angel, just cuddling with him. Which, mind you, I say like cuddle like probably more like friends than actual, that, because Angel likes guys, and also he obviously loves Husk. But Alastor says he quits, goes to Rosie, tells Rosie, look, I quit. And Rosie's like, the fuck you did? Go back there. And that's where we learn a little bit about, they sing a song about how Alastor is her pet. And also how Alastor made this deal to become the strongest sinner, and Rosie really liked him and said, like, all right, fine, I'll make you the strongest sinner. In exchange, you have to do something for me, and then I'll take your soul, or unless your soul is mine. And that same the day after, some hunters mistook him for a deer. Which I was like, well, how'd they do that? It's like, oh, he looked up, his glasses shined, and he looked like antlers, and he got shot in the head and died. So his deal was never finished. Rosie owns his soul. And also, I just saw something on Twitter, and I think Rosie might actually be Lilith, or in some way, or at least Charlie's actual mother, possibly. Whether it be that Eve took Lilith's face or something along those lines, not entirely sure, because the biggest kind of, I guess, tell, at least for me, is that Rosie does, like, how could Rosie have enough power to guarantee Alastor is the strongest sinner? Because that's the thing, Alastor's like, look, we had a deal. And our deal was I would be the strongest sinner in all of hell, and I was beaten, so I can't be the strongest sinner. Therefore, our contract is void. And Rose's like, oh, you dumbass, because you fought an angel who isn't a sinner? No. Pretty much saying that angels obviously beat sinners. Angels are stronger. Angels were kind of made for that. And not to mention also Adam. Although technically speaking, Adam is still sinned. So, like, technically speaking, shouldn't Alastor be stronger than Adam? But beside the point, I guess we're getting semantics at that point. I guess also could be just Adam has the backing of heaven on his side too. But Rosie goes like, you are the strongest sinner. You can't just fight angels. That's the thing. Angels are different. They're not sinners. I guess. So then, like, there is the question then of, like, how does Rosie have this power? Which I think it is a sense that she is Lilith, or at least Lilith is the original one, and maybe like this is a covering thing, or she could be Rue, because I still do think along the lines that I probably should have made a video about that like a year ago, but I do think Rue is a thing. Like, there's the whole thing that I guess Vibsy brought up, that Rue is like the main bad guy that appears everywhere. That's why you see her eyes all across hell. And you also see some heaven eyes in heaven, probably for God. But Rosie also doesn't have eyes, so it'd be interesting if maybe she sees eyes for everything, which, also, again, if she is, like, let's say Lilith or Charlie's actual mother, it looks like she's the one who sent Alastor to protect Charlie, to help Charlie. Because even Alastor, which he's already pissed off about all this, he's pissed that his soul is owned by someone, that he actually has chains around his neck, just as he has around Husk's. That he is just pissed. He is pissed, and he's like, I need to get out of this. I need to get out. Also, there's a statue erected in Cannibal Town of Lilith, Charlie, and Lucifer, so. Also, Lilith, or Rosie, is apparently the one that told Alastor to hide for 7 years. Which also, apparently, the executions haven't been going on, or when the angels come down to kill me, haven't been going on for like 10,000 years. It hasn't been going on since that long. It's only been happening for the past 7 years. So it's a very recent thing, which I'm like, that's interesting. A little odd, but interesting. So it is something that's brand new. That's not something that's been going on. Like, Adam's still been genociding people for the last 7 years. But, like, yeah, like, it's all something that happened, like, when Lilith seemed to have disappeared. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, like, the power scaling of being able to grant such a deal really does feel like Lilith, like, this is actually Lilith. Or at least someone of great power, I'm gonna guess Lilith, that gave Alastor his power, gave Alastor his abilities to do all this. Why is his energy green? Not entirely sure. Maybe it's just the act of channeling someone else's power, since, that's one thing I really do love about, like, Hazbin Hotel too. I actually looked, because people got pissed off at Alastor, and they're like, voodoo doesn't act like, I'm like, I want to look up how voodoo fucking works. Apparently, a lot of the things with voodoo have to do with drawing glyphs or symbols that tie to, like, a specific voodoo spirit or god, and pretty much making contracts kind of with them. Also that it's a mix of African religions along with Christianity and Catholicism a little bit. It's like a mix of all that together. That's kind of how voodoo was created. Also the fact that apparently there's a Puerto Rican-esque version of it, though I have been barely able to get any much on that, as Haitian is like the main voodoo that people was thinking about. Also, voodoo dolls aren't actually a thing. That's a witch thing. That's not a voodoo thing. Christians actually did that to try to demonize voodoo more, but that's actually not a voodoo thing. That is actually a witch thing, like European, where these people came from. Christian people came from. But pretty much then Alec has an idea where he's just like, oh wait, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go fuck with Vox, because this will solve my problem, which I guess he's playing the long game. Which, actually, I want to look that fight up again. Yeah, he pretty much calls Vox out and says, let's finish this once and for all. Where he then gets into a fight with him in the V's. Which the animation in this is really good. And also, this is what I really, really like. I like everything else in the show, don't get me wrong. But this is so much... I love all of this. Where Alastor's magic, though he's a radio demon, his shadow and shadow manipulation seems to be like his most major powers. And like control. Valentino's whole thing, it seems to just be his smoke, where he then uses his gun to shoot. Velvet, fuck-ass Bob haircut. Where Val can you show? Velvet can actually manipulate, I guess, like, one, she's a witch. She actually is a witch, also is a doll demon. You see her segments in some of the other parts. But she can actually manipulate, like, video and, like, the internet, I guess, to make different weapons and such. I think this guy could just control electricity. Vox can control electricity and like wires. And then we cut to also when Mimsy sees that Vox is that Alastor's fighting, she runs, picks Husk up, and then goes like, we need to go fight. Takes him. They start to they have a whole fight. Then he accidentally messes up Velvet's hair, and that gets a fight with them, which we see like. One, also, Mimsy's whole thing is just stabbing the shit out of you. That's it. Just running around and stabbing. Husk's whole thing is actually, like, magic. Like, he's able to hide with, like... He's able to, like, summon the cards, switch from a Joker to a King at one point. Hold on, because... Hold on.
Misery! You still fighting these nobody?
Oh, I don't think it shows it here. But like he turns into a deck of cards. He turns into a card like he goes from a Joker to a Knight, and then like maybe like the different suits might give him different abilities. I think that'd be kind of sick, honestly. But he has different abilities like that. But then eventually, when Mimsy actually gets a gun put to her head, that's when Al's like, hold on a minute. He's like, wait a minute, hold on. I have an idea. You can take me in as prisoner. I'll quote unquote join your whatever escapade. She loves pizza. He's like, look, this is what we're gonna do. You can take me as prisoner and do whatever the hell you want, but you gotta let Mimsy and Husk to let them go free. Plus, let me see here.
To lay your hands on Charlie Morningstar.
It's a deal.
And pretty much leave Charlie alone. The deal is set. Alastor is now Vox's prisoner. Charlie gets thrown out. Charlie's like, what the fuck's been happening? I thought I was the main character. Vox is so petty that he puts a mask on Alastor that's a frown because he wants Alastor to actually frown. As a cup that says fuck Alastor. Which he really apparently does want to do. Even in bed with Val, freaking Alastor is like sat down in the corner like, why? Why? Also, this guy has gills, so he is like shark-esque. Then these two have like their own song where it seems like it's Vox's answer to Stayed Gone. As in the one where it seems Vox wins. And like they pretty much there's so much tension between the two. Even Val goes like, "Oh fuck already," when I'm like, "Yeah, that's some internet bullshit. That's some internet like yeah." Like I think everyone's been seeing like the two like having the song where fighting against each other. And everyone's just like, "Just fuck already." Like that's really what it felt like. Let me see.
Overly.
Out. And then also, pretty much before the song, Al actually gives a little bit of backstory on Vox. But also, like, you could tell, I don't know, also, thanks, A Game of Fantasy for having these clips for me. But, Alastor pretty much does, Alastor is like, I don't need to tell you shit on, like, what about Charlie, about anything, about where I got my powers. All I need to do is be your prisoner. That's it. That is our deal. I don't have to do anything beyond that. And Alastor then goes, and also, like, again, the way they animated Alastor this entire time, it's super good. They're like, oh, not only are we gonna make Alastor such an asshole, because, like, everyone said, like, he was too nice last season. Not only gonna make Alastor such an asshole in this, show why he's this. We're also gonna show backstory and everything like that, which I really do love this whole thing. Because Vox brings up that in the past that Vox brings up in the past that he wanted out that him and Alastor were actually friends. How when they were rising up in hell as overlords, or well, Vox was new. Alastor's been there for a while. He actually invites Vox was a fan of his. Vox was a fan of Alastor, and he's like, look, like, radio pretty much led to TV and all this stuff. He's like, I'm just, I want to do a thing, like, we're rising the ranks. Why don't we join together? Why don't we, be pretty much like, it's like he's proposing. It really reads like he's proposing to Alastor. And Alastor takes it completely wrong way. Where Vox sees this as them being friends, them, being together as pals, as partners, as equals. Alastor sees that, oh, you want me for my power. You want me because you think you're not strong enough. So you want me to be that excess power for you. Like, no, you're weak. And also, mind you, Vox's whole big day when he captures Alastor is pretty much taking him on a date. Like, he goes on TV to have an interview about, like a couple kind of thing, it feels like. Where, like, two celebrities are like, oh, are we together or whatever? It felt kind of like that. He takes it to the ice cream shop and shares a milkshake with him, even though Al can't drink it. Again, like, even the song, they have a dance number with he has a dance number with Alastor. It very much feels like these two, like, Vox is that kind. Vox really does want Alastor that way. Oh, they're secretly best friends. Nah, he fucking hates him. But it is really interesting because, again, how Vox comes off. He comes off as he does like Alastor in the beginning. Alastor was his friend. Again, he kind of proposes to him. And Alastor took it as, oh, you want to use me. You're too weak and you want me to be the power. And I'm not going to let you I had hope in you, but no. Like, and I do feel like that might tie in a little bit to Alastor's backstory a bit. Because it definitely seems like, again, like he's at a party and a rich asshole drops wine on him. Pretty much drops wine on him, so like it does feel like maybe like it's a bit of like him growing up. That because and also look Tiana, and also no, wait a minute, Nifty. God, I've been calling her Mimsy this entire time. Nifty, Jesus Christ, sorry, Nifty. Nifty was the other one. Mimsy's this chick or whatever. But yeah, Mimsy's here. But you actually see like I don't know if he seems as happy, but he seems to have fun at the party here. But then, rich assholes, he just straight kills. It does not care. And I think like every one of the people, it seems like he's killed. Well, you can kind of tell. It looks like, at least this guy looks like he's well dressed. But like, it wouldn't surprise me if growing up in New Orleans during this time period, maybe there was a bit of racism or being used or like entertaining others or something like that, where he's just like, I don't want to be a cog. Which again, that also would tie in with what Alastor wants, to be the strongest demon. That way he can not bound to anyone. And now he's strictly bound to Rosie or possibly Lilith. So again, him taking this the wrong way, him taking it the wrong way is like pretty much on his own thing. Like, I do think like if he would have found out Vox was actually sincere, if he believed Vox was sincere instead of trying to use him for power, thinking he was using him for power, this would be completely different. And I like that. I like that a lot. Alastor has a lot of layers here, and I'm really enjoying it. Honestly, I'm like, God damn, I want more Alastor now, but also I know there's going to be more, but maybe loot. But then again, I'm also excited for loot, so I don't know. But tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hopefully enjoy this. I'm going to hopefully keep watching this. Hopefully episode 1 and 2 comes out. Hopefully I can get all the episodes out before that, because I've been a week back and forth with that damn episode, and it hasn't been uploaded for episode 1 and 2. But hopefully, everything else goes well. Man, I would love these seasons if there were a lot. It'd be great if these seasons were a lot longer. But then again, maybe they'll have like each season out every year. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for watching. Share videos. I'll just share all of my own animated show, or Memories of Ghosts, my other one. And I'm honestly probably going to do more. And let's just stand around and find out. But anyways, thanks for watching. Share videos. Hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you later.
Charlie Morningstar.